Good morning, everybody. Hello. Unless it's not morning where you're at, in which case, fuck off. Welcome to the PhazeCast. I'm Jeox.
You don't
That's
have to do
Xygni.
that.
We do the thing where shut up, you. We do the thing where we talk about nerd stuff. Well, in today's episode, we're gonna talk a little bit about Gotham Knights because the some gameplay stuff dropped off, and I am a fucking huge Batman nerd, as you may or may not have guessed from prior episodes. We're gonna talk about a class action lawsuit against WATA.
That's exciting. I love talking about class action lawsuits. They're very scintillating.
And then we're gonna, be mad at each other about Daenerys for a bit. So, welcome to the PhazeCast. Blah. What up?
Which one is it?
This is the
Which one is it?
The cast. The cast includes me, him, Jeff. That's it. Eric, do you want to start with the class action lawsuit against
Oh my
WATA?
god, I don't even know where we are anymore, Joe. I was spiraling out of control as you introduced that.
I'm sorry.
We're talking about WATA?
Yeah.
I guess you know more than me with regard to what's happening now, that there's a class action lawsuit filed against WATA and Heritage Auctions. Is that correct?
And Heritage Auctions,
Okay.
yes. Apparently, and I think you can dive deeper because you have personally experienced the atrocities that WATA and I forget the name of the other company again. What was it? WATA and
Heritage Auctions
have been doing. Yeah.
Well, I guess that, my association with it is that I sell video games. And I'll tell you what, since the video game market inflated, I have not been selling video games. I've been selling collectibles because it is just impossible to get. I mean, so what happened is WATA got in a deal with Heritage Auctions. WATA is a grading company. Heritage Auctions is an auction company. The people from Heritage Auctions basically put up the money to make WATA function, and they made a deal where they were going to exclusively hold auctions on WATA-graded products through Heritage Auctions. And that ended up being real scummy. There's a guy, Carl Jobst, who did like an hour-long YouTube video about this, and if you want to really get into exactly what happened, he does a great job of getting into it. But the gist of it is that they're inflating video game prices. They're inflating video game prices by saying, hey, we graded it, and it's this grade 10 copy of Super Mario, and that is worth $1 million. And then people from within, like people associated with WATA and with Heritage Auctions, buy that at a high price. They go on basically a big press tour saying, oh my god, can you believe that video games are worth this much now? And then the video games are kind of worth that much because it's all about public perception and what people are willing to pay for it.
It seems that between 2019 and 2021, WATA-graded games sold through Heritage Auctions broke the record for most expensive video game ever sold 6 times in a goddamn row.
Yeah.
We got February 2019. They sold a copy of Super Mario Brothers for $100,000. And the most recent one was Super Mario 64 in July 2021 for $1.56 million?
Yeah. And
Who the fuck paid 1.5? They did, right? They lied about it and then they just bought their own shit?
I believe that is the case, is that basically it was somebody associated with WATA. I think that what they did was they created a group of people that could purchase this, and it involved people directly associated with WATA and Heritage Auctions.
Well, apparently, the thing that really causes it all to be a stinker, other than just raising the prices just to raise the prices and making their own media presence between Heritage and WATA, is that a journalist named Seth Abramson, he published an article alleging that WATA co-founder Mark Haspel was selling WATA-graded games through eBay, which is no good.
Yeah, I think I read that article, actually.
So, it goes against best practices and ethics among grading houses, and it that also just seemed that just makes it seem more if the allegations are true, obviously. But if this dude named Mark Haspel, I said his name again because I wanted it to be ingrained in your memory in case he is a villain. If he is part of a company that is overinflating games so he can resell them on eBay, I don't know about the legality of it all. That's I'm unsure.
I mean, the way I understand that is that it's like artificial inflation of a market, which is not legal to do. The same way that you can't, bolster a stock by, it's sort of how like the GameStop thing got into hot water.
Yeah, but that's
which is
still
like the
legal.
fine. I know, but that's the fine line, right? Because really, I mean, you should be allowed to tell anybody to buy whatever stock.
Yeah. Exactly. And then either way, that.
But I think that the difference here is that this is actually doing it.
Hospital has subsequently admitted to selling games.
Right, and that's where it's like, if you're doing that, then that is literally like you are setting the price for that. You're not saying, hey, I think this is a good investment. You're saying, I have declared that it's a good investment because I am the one who is selling these things. So I feel like the thing is that, like, it bothers me as somebody who also collects games, because the game market was like already out of control, right? Like, nobody really should be paying $300 for a GameCube game. I mean, and that's the way the fucking market works, whatever.
But also, at the same time, you do have to give some leniency to the fact that they're not making those GameCube games anymore.
There's supply and demand. No, it was never like this before, and so it's already going up, and there's a lot of factors. There are people with more disposable income who now can buy this stuff, so there's that. But I feel like the thing is that it already was so inflated, and now it's even more so. And it's sort of gone into this frenzy where, like, for me, I definitely don't want to rip anybody off if I'm buying, like, a collection of games. My thing is, like, if I'm going to buy a collection of games from somebody, I'm going to go, like, as close as I can to, like, the market value, while still, because, like, the thing is like,
still trying to make a profit. You need to make a profit.
Yeah, you buy a box.
All understand that.
You buy a box of games. My value then is that I'm gonna, like, sort through them and post them and clean them and stuff. So there's, it's like with the margin of that involved. But the issue is that, I mean, so many people now expect top fucking dollar because everybody's aunt has seen this article about how Super Mario Brothers is worth like $1 billion. Yeah. That. It's just out of control. It's not good for collectors. It's just not good for collecters, and it makes me a little sad.
It is definitely a seller's market gone awry. But now there's a class action lawsuit, and things are. Hopefully things might happen. Like I said, I don't understand the legality of the situation correctly, but I do understand. A bunch of rich people taking advantage of a situation to make people pay ridiculous prices. And I'm down for anything that, chops out at the knee.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty much. Oops.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with it. I feel like because Carl Jobst and because this other guy, Seth Abramson, have made already such direct links to them, I feel like it'll be hard to argue. I feel like if they do anything, they'll have to argue not that it didn't happen, but that it somehow is not an issue, Yeah. And that is going to be tough, I think.
It's also such a niche market, too. I think that there is a big collectible community, especially with our current generation. Collecting old video games seems like it's a big deal. But also, at the same time, it's just like, I mean, I have bought some ridiculously priced Magic the Gathering cards over the years.
No, I mean, we all have we all have overpaid for collectibles, I think.
Right.
Because it's I paid $80 for a steelbook copy of The Thing, and I don't know why I did that.
Why?
I don't know why.
I am not a big fan of physical copies of things anymore. I think we've had this discussion.
Yeah.
I would prefer a digital download just because then I don't have to carry it anywhere. And there is the, like, you don't physically own it, but do we ever own anything, man? So, like, whatever.
I feel like we do. I feel like when you have a copy in your hand, then you do.
Yeah, but also someone could break it. Instead of it being on the internet, you could just re-download it.
Yeah, but it was nice. My internet, so I was mowing my lawn, and the cable that runs from, like, the power line to our internet box is exposed, and I ran over it with the lawnmower.
Jesus.
And I didn't have internet for like 3 days. And
Why is it exposed?
Listen, man.
On the ground. Why is it in the grass?
I'll tell you what. Our entire house, when we moved in, they were like, this electric box and all of these wires have just been redone by a man. Not a professional, but a man. And
as you do.
It might catch fire at any time. And we got a lot of that fixed, but not the internet. That was still just out there.
I don't think I've ever asked this question. Do you own your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well then, good luck.
So, no, it's done. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fixed.
Do we know collectively between the two of us electricians or someone who could make that better, or did you already get that done?
No.
I
mean, we got a guy to do it.
You got a guy to do it?
He wasn't my friend.
No, but okay. But you found someone that do you think he did good work?
Yeah. It's nothing's caught fire. But anyway, my point is that when that happened, and I fucked up our internet for 3 days, I still could watch movies. I still could play games.
Yeah, it's called a phone.
Yeah, what am I gonna play on my phone? Pokemon Go? Pokemon Go to the polls?
You can play Knights of the Old Republic on your phone now. That's more than 3 days of content right there.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a thing you can buy and play on your phone. The original KOTOR, it's all on there. Because KOTOR is just point and click, really.
I wouldn't want to do that, though, I feel like.
Why? It's KOTOR!
No, I feel like...
The power of the sun in the palm of your
I feel like it's just so, like... It's so involved, and then you have what? Like
it's
a little...
It's not. Because, well, yeah, it's involved, but the core mechanic of KOTOR was to press pause, input the commands all your guys were going to do, and then press play.
But you walk around.
Yeah, you can click to where you want to walk.
No, I don't.
It wasn't an action adventure game. It wasn't a platformer.
I can play KOTOR on my Xbox at any time that I want.
That's fair, but then you can't play it. Listen, when you're sitting in your truck and you're bored, it's your break. Just play some KOTOR.
When you're waiting for your next job.
When you're waiting for your next job. Ugh.
I don't know,
Specifically, that's something that only I can relate to at this moment.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the thing is that
I understand the value of a physical copy. I get it. I just don't understand how many of those physical copies have you actually played recently, and how many are just gathering dust because they're collectibles.
I don't know. I mean, I play games regularly.
I know but that's my thing with it. Like, I have a tendency to hold on to stuff I don't want, so I have to fight. I don't need, so I fight that tendency often.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have a clutter. Otherwise, I will have a clutter.
I'm sitting amongst clutter right now. It's everywhere.
My mother doesn't try to help me with this, by the way. She tries to feed it because she's terrible. Sorry, Mom, I love you.
Because of the gifts that she gives you?
She sends me stuff that she's held on to.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's nice.
The other day, no, it's not. The other day, I got a box, right? And it contained an old Hey You Pikachu comic, an old game guide for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
That's awesome.
My old Godzilla toy when I was 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't need that shit, though.
Send it to me. I'll take it. I love Godzilla.
It's not like a real Godzilla toy. It's like an off-brand Godzilla toy we got at the flea market when I was young.
I don't care.
I know. And then she also sent me like a little like piece of homework I did from kindergarten. She has kept my entire homework from like kindergarten to 6th grade. She has that in a tub.
My mom did that too. She put it in a tub.
What is that? She asked, "Do you want your homework?" And I'm like, "No. Why would I fucking want that?
You know,
why would I want proof that I did 2 + 2 = 4? Burn it."
I never understood that, but then all of a sudden now I have a tub. I have a tub for my son. I don't know why.
But why?
There's certain things where I'm like, that's
okay, fine.
That's
But
adorable.
have you told, like, I am an adult, and she's like, what do you want me to do with your homework? She's asked me this 5 times in the span of 10 years.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put
my answer has not changed in those 10 years.
I'm not gonna put that burden on him.
Burn it. She I don't know, but my dad was complaining about how, like, we're losing space in the shed. I might need to buy another shed. I'm like, why are you losing space in the shed? Like, what's there? She's like, well, you and your brother's homework. I'm like, get rid of it. Why do you have our homework in the shed? That means no one's looking at it. It's just, it's literally, that's a fire hazard. That's what that is.
I feel like, yeah, to put that on you, not cool.
Yeah, no, I just don't understand it. I used to understand it because I used to, like, hoard things, and, like, I kept my stack of old Nickelodeon magazines from when I first got them as a kid till I was like 16, and I realized, I'm like, why the fuck am I keeping these? I haven't read these.
You got rid of your Nickelodeon magazines?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, you gotta tell me when you do this stuff.
I was 16!
I was 16. I was around.
I used them, like, for collages, like, 3 or 4 times throughout the years. And then I'm just like, all right, it's time to, like, get rid of these.
You cut up your Nickelodeon magazines.
Yeah, because I remember specifically I had to make a collage for a book I read, and I had read Holes, and the movie Holes had come out, so I just took in all the pictures from Holes that was in the Nick magazine.
I love
and I'm
that
like,
book.
look at what I did. Listen,
I love
it's
that
a good
book.
It's a good
My
book.
mom never let me have Nickelodeon magazine. She thought it was gonna melt my brain, I think. I had like...
Oh, if only she hadn't bought you all those video games instead.
It's very selective, her choices.
It's very weird how, like, oh, Nickelodeon magazine? No. These video games, though, here, you can have this. Son.
It was a different time. Actually, at the time that Nickelodeon magazine was interesting to me, I did not have any video games. What I had was, like, Zoo Books and Ranger Rick and fucking highlights. You know, those kind of magazines.
Zoo Books are crazy. Do people make Zoo Books still? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
There's so many animals. You could always keep making more.
I don't know. I feel like they must, but, like, where do they put the ads? You remember how they would play those ads, like, nonstop on TV? Uh-huh. They'd be like, get your 600 fucking books about a zebra for $10.
Right. I liked Animorphs as a kid. And
me too.
That really made me fucked up as an individual when you realize those books are about children fighting a war.
I know, and I feel like the scariest aspect... I feel like we've talked about Animorphs.
We have! But because we went to Zoo Books, and now we're here again.
I feel like the scariest aspect of Animorphs as a kid is the fact that you can't trust anyone because those little brain worms might be in anybody. Listen,
don't trust adults was such a good thing to teach kids.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Don't trust things. Also, never forget the second wave of Animorphs that were a bunch of crippled kids who died fighting for the cause. Listen.
I was really scared of Animorphs, though, at the beginning. The like,
it's scary.
The cover...
It's legitimately scary.
It's not even... I just couldn't even get past the covers.
No, the cover was straight body horror. The cover is straight body horror, and it's sold as this cool thing for kids. But if you look at it, the cover is straight body horror.
That's the worst one, the starfish.
That's not the worst one.
That's some Cronenberg bullshit.
No, whenever they start elongating the face, like going into a horse or a bear or anything like that, that's...
True.
Nah. Dude, they really just wanted us to, like, be weirdly okay with animals and people growing up, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say...
Love the earth.
That they... Well, I don't think... Oh, no.
That's how I feel sometimes. I feel like this kid turning into a roach.
Is that Cassie?
For the listeners, there's a boy turning into a roach. Is that yeah, that's... It's, what's his face? I can't remember their fucking names.
Marco?
I think it might be Marco.
I don't know. It was hard.
You know what? I wanted to correct something from the previous podcast.
Oh.
Which I should have done 20 minutes ago.
You do that at the start, man. That's what you... We haven't had to in a while. What are we correcting?
We called Black Bolt Lightning Bolt, I think. And
did I call him Thunderbolt?
Yeah, you called him something like that. And then I also said, "Oh, this is his first appearance." It's not. He was in that show Inhumans that nobody.
We don't
watched.
talk about that show. That's not. All right. He wasn't even in his outfit. He didn't do his cool shit. All right. I don't count that.
Next topic.
Fuck you. Let's talk about Gotham. Gotham Knights. Yeah, Gotham Knights. As I have said previously, and as you have seen, I am a Batman dude.
You're a Bat fan.
I'm a Bat fan. I'm a Bat fan specifically.
I saw you ride a zip line in a full Batman suit once.
That was true. At the State Fair, yes. It was great. I remember, so we had the State Fair, and they had a zip line from one end of the food court to, like, the other end of the food court that they had. So, like, I have my Batman suit, and I'm like, let's do this. And I get up there, and then the person who was like, okay, yeah, you signed the waiver, and she looked up, and she's like, what? Double take? I'm like, I'm Batman. And then I suited up, and then you know how hard it is to go on a zipline and not have fun? Because I was so excited. It's my first time on a zipline, and it's like up high, and you're like in public view, and you're going over people. But I'm Batman, so very stoically, I had to like not like express joy at all. I like held onto it by like one hand, and it was like just floating by. And I remember my favorite moment during it was. There was a little... Because they have wagons at this thing. Little red wagons you can pull kids in. And this family was pulling a kid. And one kid goes like, Dada, Batman. And he's like, okay, son. And he looks at him and he's like, what? And I thought... Like, he like did a double take. And when he did the double take, I just nodded. And I kept...
That's what I remember because I was on the ground and I don't know if you probably I guess you probably noticed at least a couple, but there were so many people on the ground who were like, "That's fucking Batman!"
Yeah. Listen, I remember the one kid. I don't remember everybody else, but I'm glad more people were like, "It's Batman."
That was so stupid.
All right. Hey! I gave people a story.
You like Batman, and the game is coming out.
Yeah, and Batman's dead in it.
Batman's dead in it?
Yeah.
Look up Gotham Knights.
So Gotham Knights takes place where Batman is killed by the Court of Owls.
Oh, cool.
He's allegedly killed by the Court of Owls. I don't think he's actually killed, because that's not how that works. And we follow a kind of like Arkham style game that's slightly different with 4 of the Bat fam. We got Nightwing, we got Red Hood, we got Robin, and we got Batgirl.
Oh yeah, I see this gameplay demo now.
Yeah. Don't look at it anymore. Stop looking. It's going to spoil what I want to talk about.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Okay. So first off, I love me some Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Love me some Jason Todd, Red Hood. Love me some Dick. Barbara Gordon, best Batgirl. Second best Batgirl, and I'm going to get flack for that. I like Cassie Kane.
I like Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, everyone does.
Cool.
She's Oracle. But here she, has functioning legs still, so it's fine.
Okay.
And the Robin we're getting, I thought it was going to be Damian, but it's actually Tim Drake, and I'm really excited for some Tim Drake Robin. He's the smartest Robin. He's the detective Robin.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a multiplayer co-op game where you can like jump in and help each other with story-based missions or just patrolling the city, doing like cases, and you unlock different gear, which actually is like their old different outfits that you can upgrade and put other stuff on. It's got some RPG elements, and I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with the fact that they made Jason Todd this built motherfucker who is just big. He's muscly big. He's taller than Grayson, which I'm not sure I'm okay with, but I'm okay with that. He looks good. All of the characters look good. The combat seems wonky from the demo, just because they're doing some things.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, I do not have high hopes for this game.
Listen, it's still in development, and
I know,
honestly, the story seems good, and Gotham City itself looks really good. It's got that gothic with the neon lights going on that I like.
Yeah.
Some things about it though, the combat doesn't look too pretty right now, but it's still being worked on. But who knows? Jason Todd as the Red Hood does a lot of gun stuff, but not a lot of physical fighting stuff, which I feel like you need a mix of both, because we kind of got what like Jason Todd would fight like in a DLC in Arkham Knight, which was really good, and this seems like such a... I get that they need to diversify the 4 characters so they're not all the same playable character.
They're not all just doing the same combat.
I hope it's not as Not that it shouldn't be gun heavy, because it should be gun heavy, because Jason Todd is the Robin who said, fuck it, guns are better. And,
but to go full on.
I mean, just because I want to see some, you want some tactile things. You want him to punch. You want him to be brutal, because he's always been described as Dick Grayson was an acrobatic whose parents fell because their wire was fucked up with, and adopted by Batman.
Right.
Jason Todd. Eric, do you know anything about Jason Todd?
I don't know Jason Todd.
Okay.
As
Jason
well.
Todd, when Batman found him, was stealing the wheels off the Batmobile.
That's ballsy.
Yeah. This fucking 10-year-old kid had gotten the tires off too. He'd gotten like 2 of the tires off the Batmobile. He took them off when Batman found him, and he's like, uh-oh. And then he's like, you know what? You're gonna fight crime now. Come with me.
I would probably pick another car if I were him. I would look around the lot.
Yeah.
For not the Batmobile.
Yeah. So Jason Todd was the one who stole. And so he's a street kid. He's kind of he's a street kid who is really for protecting the smaller person, but has always had issues with the fact that Batman doesn't kill.
Yeah.
And thinks that, maybe we should just shoot the Joker. Maybe we could kill him. He's an asshole.
Maybe at least the Joker.
Yeah, there's that. Tim Drake is the Robin who, after Jason died, because Jason was murdered by the Joker, figured out that Batman is going really dark and needs a Robin. So he figured out their identities. Went to Nightwing, Dick Grayson. He's like, hey, your dad's not okay. You should go be a partner with him. He's like, nah, I'm fucking Starfire now in a different city with Teen Titans. Sorry. So he just snuck into the Batcave, took a suit, and became Robin for Batman.
So it's 3 Robins and a Batgirl?
Yeah.
How do all 3 Robins, how are they all there together?
What do you mean? They all come in at different times.
Oh.
Nightwing... the first Robin became Nightwing as he grew older because he didn't want to be Batman. He wanted to make his own identity. The second Robin was murdered by the Joker, brought back to life by the Lazarus Pit, and said, fuck this, I'm going to kill villains, and picked up guns and took the Red Hood monocle.
That's where I was... Moniker.
And he making fun of me now? You're going to make fun of that slip-up of this month of all months? You son of a bitch!
And he took the moniker... And he put it on his one eye. Wait,
of Red Hood.
What month is this?
Asian American Pacific Islander Appreciation Month.
Oh, that's right, it is.
Yeah.
Well, happy...
this month of all months.
Happy
My slip-up of an L and an R? How dare you?
How dare you during Asian American Month?
Asian American Pacific Islander Month. You have to say the PI.
Is it?
Because I'm pretty much the PI.
Is it specifically Pacific Islands?
Yes.
No, I mean, is that all it is, or is it
Asian American Pacific Islander?
Oh, I see.
AAPI.
I saw that on HBO Max.
And you knew, too.
You knew, and you still said...
You knew! Anyway,
I'm sorry, Joe.
I won't, the Red Hood.
I won't correct you ever again.
No, don't ever do that, no. Tim Drake is the guy who found out who they were and became Robin. And Batgirl's Batgirl.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you questions real quick.
All right, fine.
Nightwing.
Yes.
So Nightwing is the first Robin. He was an acrobatic, and he's known in the DC universe as being the only person to do a quadruple
a 900
somersault. A quadruple somersault. It's fucking a lot. He's acrobatic as fuck, and he can do weird shit. Physics don't matter to him.
Right.
Gravity means nothing. How should he traverse across the city?
He should do cartwheels the whole time.
Okay. That's a viable answer. So it shouldn't be a Fortnite glider.
No, it shouldn't be a Fortnite glider. It should be like a parkour.
Okay, but he has a Fortnite glider.
Why?
It's called the flying trapeze.
In the game?
In the game. And he holds on to it, and it's just a glider that flies for him.
See...
How should Jason Todd, the rough and tough criminal upbringing city boy, traverse across the city?
He should take a taxi.
No, it's not. It should be jumping on platforms made of his soul.
on platforms made of his soul?
Yes, he'll jump in the air, then a green aura will appear on his in the middle of the sky, and he'll use it to jump forward.
Okay.
It's Soul Leap. He doesn't have magic. People say he has magic. It's only happened once, and that wasn't him being magical. He had a magic sword.
So in the game,
don't know.
In the game, he
yes.
uses pieces of his own soul.
Yes.
To create a walkway instead of
soul
just
leaping.
walking down the street.
Well, yes, you have to go from
taking
roof
a
to
fucking
roof.
taxi.
You have to go roof to roof. Remember,
I don't.
Batman.
All right.
They still have the grappling hook. They all have the grappling hook, from what I can see. Just straight flight though seems broken to me, and it should not go to Nightwing of all characters.
Well, they probably just saw that he had Wing in his name, and they were like, meh.
Fair.
I feel like most of these things don't get made. Like I feel like. Go ahead.
Go on.
No,
you go.
No, you go.
No,
you hang up first. I feel like most of these games have people involved that like the material, but not enough people where it actually dictates how it turns out.
I also feel that at the end of the day, they still need to make a diversity between 4 different characters.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And from a gameplay mechanic, you want them to feel different.
Right. Yeah,
but how do you get that?
No, I feel like if he's acrobatic, you're right. I feel like what would be fun is like having like a a little bit more of a parkour feel to.
I think they just don't want to do a straight Arkham style travel system because Batman had the gliding thing down, right? The only one with a cape is, I mean, Robin has a cape, but not really. Is Batgirl. So first off, Batgirl should have the gliding mechanic. If Batgirl does not have the traditional gliding mechanic, that's just a loss. We don't know because they all have individual legendary or super travel, whatever the fuck it's called. Nightwing's is that. Red Hood's is a Soul Leap. I don't know Robin and Batgirl's.
It's gonna be bad.
I don't think it's gonna be bad. I think it just needs some work. The story seems interesting. They showed Red Hood on a bike because they all get the cycles essentially, and he basically just chased down a vehicle and jumped into it. It was kind of neat.
Okay.
There's potential for good combat. I just think the gameplay demo. It felt like the gameplay demo was just showing. You could do this, but I'm going to allow myself to play badly for some reason. I don't have high hopes, but I think the story will keep me engaged enough because I just want Bat Family, and this is the closest thing I'm going to get to a Bat Family-centered game because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I want Dick Grayson and Jason Todd to have a brotherhood, but also kind of hate each other.
I don't think it's gonna turn out okay.
You're negative.
I just about this a little bit. I don't. I saw also that they canceled the older console versions. They canceled it for the Xbox One and the PS4.
That just means to me they're doing a lot of graphic stuff that the systems can't handle.
They're gonna overhaul probably to just.
And I think
standards.
it's gone through like some development hell too. To be honest with
you.
I think companies have switched. Throughout its. I know that it is. Warner Brother Games Montreal though, so that's why I'm like maybe it'll be good.
I don't know, man. Yeah, we'll see. But I don't even know. I can't play it. Well, I guess I could get it on the PC. But
yeah,
who even has a PS5 or Xbox X? Mm-hmm. Where are they, man?
I don't know. I saw one in the store. I just didn't buy it.
What? You saw one in a store?
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen one in a store ever. Yeah, I wouldn't get it if I could anyway.
So, WB Games Montreal did Arkham Origins.
Okay.
That's the one I didn't play.
Yeah, I didn't play that either, but
it was like a prequel.
At least they have some idea of like a good combat
I think they have
system.
totally a good idea of what Batman should be too.
Right. That's good.
And that's for me is important. Oof, this episode's running long. We're going to argue about Daenerys, though.
For the last 10-ish minutes,
yep,
we'll argue about Daenerys. So the point that you made last time was...
Is that her character hadn't changed at all?
Hadn't changed at all. And so, I feel like the thing is, and this is less of an argument about just general sexism than it is about Game of Thrones specifically and the way that they handled, like, the last season of it. Because because what they did in that was they had like character points that they could use, but they didn't know how to get to them, right? In general, like what they do with Bran, like could have made sense had they taken like 2 more seasons to develop it. But they didn't, and so it's unsatisfying in general.
I feel
it's the same thing with Daenerys.
I feel that this is the same thing you bring every other time. Whenever a character that you enjoy personally changes, you want an entire separate series or movie describing how that change happens instead of accepting the change happening as it shows.
I just don't think...
You did it with Luke. You did it with Wanda. You're doing it with Daenerys and Bran now. And the only reason you're doing this is because you like the characters this much. And that you like to root for them and you want good things for them.
No, but because I think that I've seen good character development that I enjoy. And I know what it looks like when I see it. What I enjoy. And that's not it. It just ain't it.
Bran literally became an otherworldly force. And we knew that was going to happen. We saw it with the previous, whatever the fuck he is now, the broken. Well, he's Bran the Broken, which is a terrible nickname. Holy shit! Who's the asshole who did that?
Bran the Shitty.
Bran the Broken. Bran the wheelie no feet feely.
No.
He's the 3-eyed raven, right? That's
yes,
what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds cooler.
Go on.
It just doesn't feel like good character development.
But I feel like the character development is exactly how it went. And the only reason you're disagreeing with it is because you like Daenerys and wanted to see good things for her and see her win.
I just think with a show like that and how much money they were making off of it, there was no reason to not do at least like an extra season and show development.
They did, though. In my opinion, they showed the development.
That's crazy, man!
Okay. That's
the first time I've heard anybody say that.
Let's go over Daenerys, shall we?
All right.
Let's go over Daenerys.
Uh-huh.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes.
First of her name.
Okay.
Queen of the 7 whatever the fucks, yada yada, mother of dragons.
House of the Isles. Burns of the Burnies.
Yeah. She is basically sold as a sex slave by her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Becomes like queen of the horse people.
Yeah.
At least that specific tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband gets cursed, dies. She tries to burn with him. She doesn't get burned, so people are like, oh, fuck. This is a sign we should follow her. So she takes her band of raiding slavers, because that's what they are. Her horse people who are evil. Evil subjective. Who do very bad things. They go around and they rape and they pillage before she's in charge. And they ride their horses. She takes them and then she goes to a place where she is supposed to be protected. Right? And she gets her dragons and they hatch into little baby dragons. And then she gets tricked into like, we're going to take over you and control you again. So what she does is she fights back with her dragons and her horse people. And she takes over. Right?
Yeah.
Does that sound all right? Next thing that happens is she goes to another place.
Yeah.
Where she gets treated okay. Is then tricked. And she uses her dragons and her horse people to take over. Correct?
Yeah.
And the only reason we don't bat our eyes is because they're slavers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Repeat that how many more times? And then
you get to the end, right?
Where she does the exact same thing she's been doing the entire series. She tries to work with the people there. Somebody tricks her. She's like, no, it's just better if I'm in charge. And she takes over.
But see, so here's the thing, and I think is the crux of this thing to me, is that the point of that I get. Because in general, with Game of Thrones, the final season, what David whites.
No.
and whatever
I want
were-
to talk
what-
about Daenerys.
Okay, but with Daenerys, what I'm sure they were given was the plot point. They said, and George R. R. Martin was like, I haven't finished the book, but here's what's going to happen. But they didn't know how to get to that last thing, and the issue is not.
It was the same.
It's the way that she gets there. It's such a change in her like demeanor and tone that happens so quickly.
It's framed that way. But if you're ever on the opposite side of Daenerys, which is the first time we were on the opposite side,
I see what you're saying.
that is what everybody has been seeing. Yeah. Everyone else who has gone up against Daenerys sees what we saw in the final season. The only reason we didn't see it like that is because we've been on her side. And the people she's been deposing and taking control of have been kind of assholes. Like, that's the only reason people are mad. Because, like, they feel like she's been a hero the entire time. And to some degree she was. And from a certain point of view. But from another point of view, she was literally showing up to places, murdering everybody who didn't agree with her, and then taking over. She has consistently done that throughout the entire series.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I do think that was the point they were trying to reach. I just don't think that they got there in a way that convinced me. That's all.
The final season specifically, let's look at that then. She finds love, but then it's kind of weird because it's,
she finds
incest.
Weird.
She
love.
finds that Targaryen love that she needed.
Yeah.
And so that causes a hiccup because then the person who she finally is allowing to love again, because that's an issue with her consistently, is letting people close enough.
Yeah.
Is now kind of disgusted by who they are and how they've been doing things, and is now
Right.
no longer being that intimate person with her. So
Yeah.
that's a fucking wrench. Then she sees he might be, oh fuck, he might be a king now. And then she sits there at the hold watching literally everybody say, "Oh, this guy's great. He should be king. He's amazing. We love him." Which is a threat to her power. And every time her power and her control has been threatened, she starts getting wary. She starts getting that seed is planted too. Then we get to the final battle after they dealt with the undead threat, and Missandei gets captured. Her confidant, her best friend, is then brutally beheaded in front of her. Because a certain evil woman is essentially a monster. Cersei is the most villainous character in a long time that I've seen, just because all of her actions are spite. Are pretty much spite-induced. So her lover kind of betrayed her, and is also a threat to her power. Her best friend, gone and dead. And she's been in this situation where Cersei, clearly a bad leader, clearly someone no one should like. Oh, well, I've done this before. She's evil. I'm going to take my slaves, my horsemen, all of my people, and we're going to kill everything in this place. Because we need to just burn it all to the ground and start anew. That was shown. That was there. I don't know what your crux is and what you're there wasn't enough of when it was completely and utterly shown.
I just feel like all of that sounds good on paper. It's like the details of the character interactions and the pacing that get you there that I have an issue with. I just think that overall it needed to be slowed down and shown at a different pace.
You say that about literally every character. You say that about every failure of a character you like, or every heel turn of a character you like.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's why it's dude, you just don't want to see your characters your favorite characters fail or be evil.
No, I don't. I disagree with that because I don't know. I'm trying to think of some examples where I enjoyed it. Like Batman, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, I thought had a really good development for Bruce Wayne. And
No. That's specifically when when they fail or when they turn bad is why I say that's when you always hate it, because you don't like something turning a character.
No, I think that Anakin in Star Wars, I like the way that that's handled. It's handled over 3 movies, and it's handled pretty. I think
it's kind of handled over 2 movies. The first movie doesn't count.
I guess, but
nothing happened in the first movie.
I don't know, but it's important though to see him, being just an innocent kid.
So you want to well, everyone's innocent when they're a kid.
I know, but that's
no one's evil as a kid. If you're evil as a kid, that's a.
I hope not, but yeah, I don't know.
Would it have been better if there was a scene where Daenerys sits down and she's just watching like a play, and then Cersei shows up and she sits down next to her and she's like, "Have I ever told you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" Would that have made it better?
Yes.
But then here's the thing.
I think Darth Plagueis would improve most things.
But if you need more time to explain something, then you contradict yourself because you want more show, less tell.
Yeah, that's.
And I feel like they did a lot of show, but you just didn't want to interpret it into the tell that you wanted. So you need someone to be like, "No, son, here's how it happens on paper." Instead of seeing it, you were literally shown the fall, but you didn't agree with the fall.
What I mean is that those plot points work on paper when you describe them, but when you're translating that to a television series, there's a lot more to it than just those plot points, and that's where I feel like
they showed those scenes
apart a little bit.
They focused on Daenerys looking at that stuff,
but it takes more than showing those scenes to convince me that they're worth having gotten to. Yeah, that's what I'm always saying, man.
No, you say you want more show, less tell. Now you're telling me you want more tell.
I want them to show me how that character got to that point.
I don't think they did. I just explained how they did. And the only reason you didn't like my explanation is because you're like, well, it sounds good on paper. No. Even though I could probably pull up all of those scenes and just show them
It's not about the scenes. It's about in between those, putting the connective tissue in there to fucking get you there. And I would have to watch it again, which I really don't want to, because, man, was that one of the most disappointing experiences of my life watching that last
here's
season.
The thing. Here's another thing about the last season. It's not that disappointing. People just don't like the ending. Fucking come at me. Literally, the last season had a lot of good moments and a good tie-ins. Like, the only thing I wish they did better was Tyrion and Sansa, other than that, graveyard scene. If they had a little bit more after that, I would have been happy. But they didn't, and that's okay.
I couldn't even see one of the episodes. It was so fucking dark. I couldn't even see it!
You just adjust the brightness on your TV, dumbass.
It doesn't. I shouldn't have to. Listen.
Yes, you.
But what I recall from watching that was being really frustrated about her descent into madness in that season specifically.
She's always been like that, though. It was just framed as a descent to madness because we were on the opposite side of that now. That is what you call good perspective. That's actually really good perspective.
I get what you're saying, but I just didn't like the framing of it. I don't think that it did the character justice.
I think it absolutely did exactly what the character has been doing and is okay. And the only reason you don't like it is because you were rooting for her for all those seasons.
It was a quick shift because Daenerys does take over a lot of stuff, but you can tell throughout the show that
we've seen her in those moments of craziness.
She thinks that she's doing the right thing. She wants to do the right thing for the largest number of people. And that's where there's a shift in the last season where it very suddenly becomes a very selfish act.
I don't think so.
She's just grabbing at power.
I don't think so because the only people she cared about are her own people. And those people in there weren't her people. And that's when she made that distinction. Because she still had the loyalty of all of her people. I feel like you're reaching because I have come up with these ideas. And every time I say hey, this is a good point, you're like, I need more.
I do. I just think I think that I just am not satisfied with what I was shown between those plot points. I get get where she ends up, but how they got there, I think, was rushed and it was lazy. And
I don't think so.
Didn't make a whole lot of sense.
I think it made perfect sense,
and I would
and
have
that
to
you
go
are
back,
denying the past
and I
to
would
make
have
it
to
so
go
it's
back.
not.
I would have to go back and watch it again because I don't remember, honestly, much of the interactions.
Daenerys is scary throughout the whole series. Like, she has moments where she's just legitimately scary, but we feel okay with it because it's on people we don't like. Like, that's the thing. She did not change. She did not. I did not. She did not. She was literally, from I think season 2 or 3 onwards to this point, the only thing is that she got more power. And we can talk about how power corrupts for forever. But
it just didn't do it for me. It just didn't do it for me.
And you can say that, but you cannot say they didn't show.
I mean, but that's the issue. I feel like you have to do more.
You always say this, though, for characters you only like or care about. Do you know that?
No, but...
Do you notice that? Do you not see that?
So, like...
Look within! Look inside yourself!
So, like Anakin, for example, right?
Uh-huh.
You could start Revenge of the Sith off and have him be where he's at and then suddenly... just decide, I'm going to side with Palpatine. But what you see between those two moments is manipulation. You see Palpatine manipulating him. You see Anakin having a real difficult time struggling with whether or not he's doing the right thing. You can see that he's trying to do the right thing.
Because the difference between that.
About
here's the difference between
family.
that. The difference between that is that we focused solely on Obi-Wan and Anakin. We had 2 characters.
Yeah, it's an ensemble thing in Game of Thrones, sure.
Yeah, that's why you got more. And
but
also, honestly, I don't think we would have been okay with the heel. I think if episodes 4, 5, and 6 didn't come out, and you personally saw only episodes 1, 2, and 3, and didn't know he was going to end up as Vader, I think we'd be having a different conversation. I think you'd be saying, well, it's stupid that he would betray his whole family and his brother and his wife like that, like he would just go crazy. I think the turn, like he just turned evil. Like all of a sudden his eyes were evil.
I mean,
like
maybe.
I feel like that's what, see? And that's the thing.
But
You can't take a heel turn without someone like you want to emphasize when your character goes bad, and I get that. You want a good justification, but for some reason you seem personally to I want 1,000 reasons as to why they turned evil.
Well, because
I can't understand turning evil.
Yeah, I don't think that in reality people just flip a switch and then are a different person, and that's what.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you think people can't do that, but that happens literally all the time. Because also the person you think you know isn't actually, might not be that person. That's just who they are in front of you.
But see, and that's I guess I just disagree with that. I feel like
you think people are just always like who you think they are all the time?
No, but I think that like it's easy to say in reality that somebody like John Wayne Gacy just snapped and started killing people. But when you look at that human being's life from start to finish, you see a system of abuse, of a big ego, of a prior arrest. You know, there's like
Go ahead and tell me more about Daenerys, because you just described Daenerys' whole life.
There's like a whole lead up to that, and then even when it happens, it's not a switch. That's a complex human being.
She didn't switch. She did everything that she has always been doing.
I just feel like...
You just described everything that she went through. You, did all of that.
I just feel like in the last season, it strips away a lot of the complexity that you've developed with Daenerys' character, because I think that for the rest of the show, they did a good job of that. And you have a really good sense, like I said, where it's like, she is a little bit tyrannical, but she's always trying to do the right thing, and she has a clear view of what it is that she wants, and how to get it. And
she's never had a clear view of what she wants.
And that falls apart so quickly in the last season that it just didn't make sense to me.
I think it didn't. I think it was all explained. I think it was all perfectly there. And I think that, her like final heel turn wasn't even a heel turn in her eyes, because if it was an evil act, then her people would have said something about it. But I forget his name. Worm something. What's his name? The slave.
Yeah. Worm something. Worm.
Yeah. If she was actually evil, doing evil things, that man wouldn't have kept following her. Like all of them believed in her, and they also saw a kingdom where they just kill their own people and they like enslave. Like they saw what she saw.
No, but see, that's where I'm trying
thing.
to agree with you, man. I agree with that point.
So then where's the part where she loses her complexity?
It's this quick turn to like a hysterical woman kind of...
She's not hysterical during it, though. Stop going to that. She's not hysterical during this. She is very much in her right mind making her decisions.
I don't know, man.
You're just saying, you're literally just going to that, like, that she's being framed as hysterical. She's not being framed as hysterical.
I mean,
she's doing what she's done. Like, I didn't think she was hysterical at all during that. I think she was literally just, this is the conclusions that she comes to because it's what she's always come to, because that's how her life has been.
I mean, maybe
that's not hysterical.
I really need to watch season 8 again, and then we can come back to this conversation, because I cannot recall the specific examples of character relationships, but what I recall in general from that season is not being satisfied with her interactions with people.
You didn't like the conclusion.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, man.
Like that is what you were saying that's what you're saying in between everything, though. That's what I'm hearing.
That's where I feel like we're not on the same, because it's not about the conclusion, it's about fucking getting there. The conclusion is fine.
Yeah, but I feel like they did get there, and the only, and you just keep saying, I want more. And I don't understand how you could want more. When every time we do this same type of conversation, the I want more is always because if it's a character you liked, doing something you don't like, or then failing. And like, you say you don't think that, but do you honestly not think that couldn't paint your picture differently?
I mean, no, I do. I get what you're saying, but I think that in general, it's just something where there was no reason to not show more. It's a show that could have gone on for like 4 more seasons. It would have made billions of dollars. They could have spent a little bit more time in general. Because the thing is like, people will complain.
Honestly, they couldn't. They couldn't, because they ran out of book material. And then they knew the writing was going to be bad. So they had to finish it up.
Yeah, and
that's different.
That's sort of the problem, is that they caught up too quick.
Yeah,
but it's the kind of thing where like people will complain about, like, they'll be like, oh yeah, Bran shouldn't have gotten the throne, whatever. I don't agree with that. I just think that the issue is showing how you get there. You need to...
Yeah, I don't want these long-ass explanations. I want you to imply and show me what's happening. Because I saw all that, I'm like, oh, this all makes sense to me. I am a smart enough person to look back at the other seasons and connect all the things that led up here.
I mean, listen, that's just a different approach to media then. I don't know what to tell you, man.
But
I appreciate...
That means you want media to just force feed you things when you tell me you don't want them to force feed you things.
No, I appreciate slow, well thought out character development.
You had an entire series to see Daenerys get to this.
But that's the thing, man, and that's where we just
and the only reason,
are not agreeing is that you think
the only
that it was
reason
justified, and I don't. And to be honest, dude, I don't remember the shit from the last season.
There you go!
Because I watched it, I hated it, and then I was upset that I had invested
you were
years
upset
of
because
my life.
a character you liked turned bad and failed. You hate that every time again. Like, that's the connecting point between all these things that you don't like.
I feel like that's a misreading of what I'm saying. Because I am not against that. I am against bad character development.
Are you? Because the only other example you brought up was Anakin.
Well, listen, I can't think of any examples right now, but I will come up with many.
Sure.
I will come up with some.
Yeah.
But I can't think of them right now. You're yelling at me too much, and I'm scared.
I'm sorry I'm yelling at you. But to me, it seems like every time I feel like I'm bringing up good points, you just say, I want more. And I feel like that is how your view is into media. Where, like, even though there are good points in front of you, you just want more.
Well, here, let me try to fucking... It's gonna take a while, because I don't
No, we don't have enough time.
I know, that's the thing. We're already running long.
So we're running long on time. Thank you for anybody who stayed to watch this far into the video. Or listen to us on a podcast. Wherever you consume your Phase media. Ooh,
Phase.
let's brand that. Phase media.
Here's an example.
Patent printing. Go on.
Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight are 3 movies that each are about 90 minutes long. They show you very quickly look into 2 people's lives, and yes, it's not an ensemble cast, but
that's a bad thing for you in the favor. Go on.
But there's development between 2 people that is
Dude,
consistent.
is it literally just a focus on 2 people for 3 movies? Because of course you get more from that. That's a bad example.
It's consistent. And it's
that's a bad example.
Well thought out.
That's a bad example.
I'm just saying that there's no reason to not take that kind of time.
There is, because it's an ensemble, and they've had fucking 8 seasons to show you how a character gets to a point. It is not their fault that you cannot put 1 season, 2 season, 3 season, 4 season, 7 season, 6 season, 5th season, whatever, and can't equal the correct thing that comes out. It's not their fault you can't see it. It's not their fault you like the character so much you don't want them to fail.
They had plenty of time.
They did not. Or they did. They did. They showed it through all those seasons.
There's no reason to not take that time.
All those seasons have shown you. You just wanted more of the last season. Or you just wanted more of the show to keep going.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Because I didn't want more Game of Thrones. I wanted it to be over with.
Well, and that's where I feel like probably that was more satisfying for you. So that's
also,
just a different opinion,
the satisfaction comes from that they did show you all the character development. You just won't accept the fact that your character that you liked ended and didn't have a happy ending. No. That happens. I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm used to my character not having a happy ending.
I don't know, man.
I'm a Batman fan. I'm used to my characters not having a happy ending.
I don't think that's it, but...
I think that is it. And you aren't explaining why you're not explaining why that's not it. You're just saying, I don't think that's it.
Alright, well...
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
But you
I just don't even remember the season. I don't even remember.
But here's the thing. I'm sorry I got hyped up. I apologize. But when you say like, oh, you get good character development from 3 movies like this, and I'm like, is that a trilogy that literally only focuses on 2 fucking characters? And you're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, that's a bad example then, isn't it?
So,
yeah, especially because it's a goddamn, what is it? A romance movie? Is it a romance series?
Yeah, I
romance
guess so.
drama? A romance drama's whole job is to only sit around and talk for 3 hours.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
When is it not?
Knives Out is an example of a movie.
That's not a romance or a drama.
A movie with you want a movie with an ensemble cast where people in the movie are developed well? Knives Out is an example where I understand the motivations of everybody, even though there are like 15 characters in it, and they all have similar screen time.
So what you're telling me is you don't understand Daenerys' motivation to gain control that has been taken from her their entire life and then rule better because
I don't
she
understand.
She knows better?
I don't understand the character interactions between those points of motivation.
They're very good. And to think that they're not, I don't know what you want more. Do you want her yelling at Cersei for 10 episodes?
Yes.
Is that what you wanted?
Yes.
Because that doesn't change anything. It's the same thing for 10 episodes.
I just feel like I'm gonna come up with a whole list next episode next week.
Good. I will deconstruct that list. I will destroy you. I am very good at the one thing I love is characters. So if you're trying to tell me that I'm wrong about how characters' growth is,
I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong, man.
Weapons.
I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong.
Everybody, thank you for listening to the PhazeCast. This episode is long enough. Tune in next week for something. I don't know.
And Friday,
I'll be less heated.
Friday we'll be back with the Muppets.
What?
It's time to start the music.
No.
It's time to light the lights.
Please.
It's time to get things started on the Muppet Show tonight.